आगर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ आगर्थप्रतिपत्ते जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ. We finished with the Shurpanaka episode, and we are in the middle of Kharadushana युद्धम्. एको दाशरथिः कामं यातु धानाः सहस्रशः ते तु यावन्त एवाजौ तावांश्च ददृशे स तैः. We finished with the 45th shloka. The prowess of Rama is described in the shloka where he says, Ekaha Dasharathihi. There is only one Rama, whereas there were so many Rakshasas, nearly 14,000, 16,000. Some number is given. It's just nobody stood there and counted how many were there in the army. It's just to give the difference between how Rama single-handedly attacked an entire army and defeated them. So Sahasrashaha Yatu Dhanaha, thousands of Rakshasas were there. But they tu yavantaha ajo, how many ever there were, they saw Rama as so many Ramas. So Rama was moving with such speed that each person thought that he was probably fighting with him one-on-one. So each one saw one Rama. So probably there were Rama speed was such that there were so many Ramas at one time. Okay. Asajjanena. Next, Dushana. Dushana, Khara and Dushana are brothers who are cousins of Ravana. So now the fight between Dushana and Rama is described here, but it's a play on the word Dushanam. So Asajjanena kakutsthaha prayuktam atha Dushanam na chakshame shubhacharaha sa Dushanamiva atmanaha. Asajjanena kakutsthaha asajjanena prayuktam dushanam iva atmanaha dushanam na prayuktam atmanaha dushanam iva shubhacharaha dushanam na chakshame. So he has used the word dushana twice. Usually when you use the word twice, it's called punarukti dosha, but here he uses the two words in two different meanings. The first one is actually Dushanam. Here is Dushanaha, Rakshasaha, Asuraha. So Asajjanena by a bad person who is Khara here. Asajjanena Prayuktam Dushanam. Prayuktam, one who was sent by Khara. So Dushana, who was sent by the bad person Khara, Kakutstha was not able to, he did not tolerate that. He is like, he could not tolerate it, just like how a person with a good character cannot tolerate an insult upon his character. Dushanam is more like an insult or a avaduru cholradumbo. Yeah, and the madri அதுதான் தூஷணம். So it's a blemish on his character. So just as how a person who has a shubha acharaha, a very auspicious or a very good character, he cannot tolerate any sort of a dushanam, that is an insult or a blemish to his character. In the same manner, Rama also, this is that asajjanena can go for both the second line and the first line. Asajjanena prayuktam dushanam kakutstaha na chakshame. Make it into two sentences, it will be easier to understand. So asajjanena kharena dushtajanena kharena prayuktam dushanam. Prayuktam preshitam dushanam tannamakam asuram saha na chakshame. He did not tolerate that person, dushana. Why couldn't he tolerate? It was like iva. The second line is your upamanam, and for this also you take this asajjanam. Asajjanena prayuktam atmanaha dushanam yatha shubhacharaha na chakshame na kshamate. This is in lit lakara of kshama dhatu. Just as how a person of good character cannot tolerate an insult or a blemish or an abuse against himself, atmanaha dushanam, uttered by a wicked person. which is asajjanena prayuktam. Just as how he cannot, in the same way, here also Kakutstha Rama could not tolerate Dushana. That is, he did not, he fought him and killed him, destroyed him. We'll go word by word and it will become a little bit more clear. Atha Shubhacharaha. Shubhacharaha Rane Sadhuchari. So any Veera will naturally not be able to tolerate someone who is trying to win over him. So a Veera will always try to win over. So it is showing his Shubha Achara, his good character with respect to the battlefield. Okay, so Shubhacharaha here is Rane Sadhuchari. He has a good character, he has a good Vyavahara in the battlefield. So Rane Sadhuchari. Upamana Pakshe. You take it as two Paksham, take it as both the Upameya and the Upamana. Upameya here is Ramaha. Most of the Visheshanas are going to go for Rama also, and for a person who has a good character. So Shubhacharaha Rane Sadhuchari or Sadvrittaha Kaschana Purushaha Kakutsthaha Ramaha Asajjanena Durjanena Athava Rakshojanena. So here you can say it as, I think I will change it to Kharena Rakshojanena is Rakshasena. Kharena Rakshojanena or Durjanena Prayuktam. So Durjanena Prayuktam Dushanam will go for a person with a good character, and Kharena Rakshojanena Rakshasena. Karanamaka Rakshasena Prayuktam Dushanam would go to Kakutstha. You understand how it fits here? Prayuktam, Preshitam. Prayuktam can also mean Uchcharitam. Uktam can also mean mantra prayogaha kriyate. Khalu? Mantra prayogaha kriyate chete tatra the mantra uccharanam eva kriyate. So it is both prayogaha can mean something that is said, prayuktam can mean something that is said or something that is sent. So prayuktam preshitam uchcharitam cha dushanam dushana namanam rakshasam Atmanaha dushanam iva swasya dushanam dosham iva na chakshame na sehe. Chakshame is kshamatez litlakara. Sehe also is sahatez litlakara. Is that clear? Here it should be slishtopama. 1 minute, let me just check. I think. Yeah. I would not only Slesha, but you can take it as, so when you write it as Slishtopama, it means that Slesha helps the Upama. So Slesha becomes the Anga Alankara and Upama becomes the Angi Alankara. So there is an Angangi Bhava and a Sankaraha. Okay. Ramaha Rakshobhihi Preshitam Dushanakhyam Asuram Atmadushanam iva nigrahitum. Nigrahitum illa? Nigrahitum. Ramaha Rakshobhihi Preshitam Dushanakhyam Asuram. Rakshobhihi, Rakshas, I told you, is an Apunsakalinga for Rakshasa. So Rakshobhihi Preshitam Dushanakhyam Asuram. Atma Dushanam iva, as if it is his own fault. Nigrahitum Udyuktaha Abhavat, he became ready to control Dushana. He became ready to do that. So Shubhacharaha, Shubhaha Acharaha, yasya, that is fine. Asajjanaha, Sannacha Saha Janaha, Sajjanaha, Na Sajjanaha, Asajjanaha. Okay. Kakutsthaha. Okay. Kakudi Tishtati iti Kakutsthaha. Okay. Vrishad, idu vandu bracket la potukom. Kakutsthasya apatyam puman Kakutsthaha. I've told this story before also. Right? Asajjanena Kakutsthaha. Any doubts in this shloka? Asajjanen.
General doubt, why do they name like Dushanah iti Rakshasasya nama, but their parents have given such a name to the child.
கரெக்ட் தான். என்ன பண்றது? நிறுத்தின்னுட்டு அசுபான்னுட்டு ஒரு பேர் வச்சிருந்தான்னா அது மாதிரி பண்ணலாமே. சோ பிராயः சத்ருணாம் தூஷணம் கரோதி இது வச்சிருக்கலாமோ இல்லையோ. அவனே he himself is a தூஷணங்கிறதுக்கு பதிலா one who दूषयति अन्यान् इति अन्यान् इत्युक्ते तत्र शत्रून् दूषयति इति प्रायः மனசுல இருந்திருக்கும். அதுதான் இன்னைக்கு வைக்கலையா நிறைய பேரு.
Shlesha, I got it. Upama, can you explain?
Iva, na? So, okay. So दूषणम् आत्मनः दूषणम् इव शुभाचारः यथा आत्मनः दूषणं न चक्षमे तथा काकुत्स्थः दूषणं प्रयुक्तम् असज्जनेन प्रयुक्तं दूषणं न चक्षमे. Okay. The shlesha is because shubhachara is an adjective for both. It can be an adjective for kakutstha, and shubhachara is an adjective for, it indicates a person who is of good character. Okay. So the shubhachara iva kakutstha, atmanah dushanam iva dushanam na chakshame is your sadharana dharma. Okay.
Okay. Amade, when we are writing the alankara, you said sankaraha. Is that should we consider it as a separate alankara and write it slishtopama kama sankaraha, or every time there is slishtopama there is always a built-in sankara coming attached with it, like one by like that? Do we do?
Yes. So if you write it separately as sleshaha and upama, then you can write sankaraha also. Even if you write it as slishtopama, you can write sankaraha. In general, that is the procedure. So sankara is an alankara by itself. Samsrishtihi and sankaraha are two types of alankaras which only talk about the samyukta shabdam madri. It's like a samyukta akshara.
Yeah. Okay, but every time there is a slishtopama, there is going to be like a tail. It is going to come, right? Sankaraha is going to come like a tail.
Absolutely. நான் வந்து வியாக்கியானம் எழுதினேன்னா நான் எழுதுவேன். I will write it every time. Not all commentators will write it every time. That's all. They will think that, oh, this is so simple. The students will know. அவ்வளவுதான்.
So we can write Sankara within bracket Shlesha plus Upama or something.
So it is a Slishtopama, and you can also say it as Angangi Bhava Sankaraha. Because this is just in second level, I'm not going so much into all that. This will, for the next levels, if you...
Is it Angangi Sangraha or Angangi Bhava Sankara?
அங்காங்கி சங்கரஹாவும் சொல்லலாம், அங்காங்கி பாவ சங்கரஹாவும் சொல்லலாம். ரெண்டும் ஒண்ணுதான். It's understood there. It's okay. Usually sankaraham bo. There is something called sandeha sankaraha, angangi bhava sankaraha, and ekavachaka anupravesha sankaraha. There are three types of sankara. So you should identify what it is also. So if you don't know, it's best to keep quiet.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to the next one. Tam sharaif pratijagraha kharat trishirasau cha saha kramashah te punastasya chapat samam iva udyayuhu. Tam sharaihi, tam saha Ramaha tam kharat trishirasau cha sharaihi pratijagraha. This is your first sentence here. So saha Ramaha kakutsthaha. So we take it as kakutsthaha because kakutsthaha is mentioned in the earlier shloka. So saha kakutsthaha tam purvoktam dushanam dushanaha. So you take that asura here first for tam. So these are all clues that from where what you, saha is mentioned as kakutsthaha in prathama vibhakti in the earlier shloka. And then dushanam na chakshame is in dvitiya vibhakti also. So tam sharaihi pratijagraha, dushanam sharaihi pratijagraha. So he killed Dushana with his Shara, that is with his bows, so, and bows. Okay, so tam Sharaitam Khara Trishirasaucha, both Dushana, Khara and Trishiras. Now, Khara and Dushana are brothers. Trishiras is the Senapati of the army. So he is not one of the brothers, but he is just a Senapati there. So Rama Pratijagraha, he fought, or he sent, I think, hit them. Illya? Pratijagraha would mean Pratigrihitavan, Nigrihitavan, controlled in Eduthindirkar. Okay. You can also say he hit him. So Pratijagraha, he controlled him or attacked him attacked both Dushana, Khara and Trishiras with arrows. Kramashaha te punaha tasya chapat samamiva udyayuhu. Te kramashaha tasya chapat samam iva udyayuhu. They actually came out one after the other, but it seemed like they came out at the same time. Samamiva udyayuhu. It just shows his quick Laghuvikramaha. The same that we saw in Ekaha Dasaratik Kamam, the same you'll have to apply here also. So te punaha, te sharaha punaha. Those arrows, kramashaha tasya chapat udyayuhu. They came out one by one, but it was as if they came out at the same time. Even though they were discharged from his bow, kramashaha, gradually, in the correct order, still they seem to come out of its bow, samam iva. Now this shloka also has an iva, the earlier shloka also has an iva. Now how will you distinguish what alankara is this? I hope you've written utpreksha, vastu utpreksha. Okay, it is an utpreksha because the arrows can only come one at a time, but the poet is saying it is as if it came out at the same time, even though it came out only one after the other. So it's a fancied situation here. It is an illusory situation. Okay. So Saha Ramaha tam dhushanam kharatrishirasau. Kharaha cha trishiraha cha. He has 3 heads. So, Trini Shiramsi, yasya saha, Shiraha, Shirasi, Shiramsi is a Sakaranta padam. So, when you have to indicate a Pullinga person, this is very similar to Gantumanaha, and then we found this in the Kathavallari, one shloka, where each one wanted to get out of the palace, right? There we saw this usage of Manaha in Pullingam. The same way here also, Trishiras is the Pratipadikam. You will decline it like Chandramaha, Chandramasau, Chandramasaha. So Trishiraha, Trishirasau, Kharaha cha, Trishirasaha, Trishiraha cha, Trishirasau. Iti. Okay. Okay, that's fine. So, Yugapat, idu vandu vastu utprekshadana. Yeah, I would say this is Kriya Utpreksha. Samam Yugapat iti. Okay, then it's showing the nature of its coming out at the same time. Okay. So Saha Ramaha tam dushanam kharat trishirasau cha. So kharaha trishiraha cha trishirasau. Kharam trishirasam cha. Sharaihi Banaihi Pratijagraha Pratigrihitavan Nigrihitavan. He controlled them. Nigrahanam also means killing. So he killed or attacked all 3 with bows, with arrows. Kramashaha Yathakramam Nirgatam Api, even though they were coming out gradually one after the other. Tasya Ramasya Te Sharaha Punaha Chapat Dhanushaha Samam Yugapat Iva Udyayuhu Niryayuhu Yayau Yayatuhu Yayuhu. This is in Lit Lakara. So Udyayuhu coming out at the same time. Ramaha Sharan Prayujya Dushanam Kharat Trishirasaucha Jaghana. So you take it as killed also. Pratigrihitavan, Nigrihitavan also means killing. So Rama, with using his arrows, Sharan Prayujya, Dushanam Kharatrisirasaucha Jagana, he killed all three. So when the top people are gone, it's very easy to kill the rest of them, right? So Yadyapite Sharaha Ekasmat Anantaram Ekaha Iti Kramenaiva Ramena Prayuktaha, even though they were used by Rama in a in succession, Kramena, one after the other, Ekasmat Anantaram Ekaha. Tathapi, even then, te banaha, those arrows, danushaha, yugapat nirgataha, iva drishtaha, they were seen to come out at the same time. So, anena Ramasya Sharaprayoga Laghavam Vyaktam. Laghavam is the lightness in using arrows is seen. So, Rama was very capable of using the arrows very quickly. Okay. Vastu Preksha. Ramaha Kharaha cha Trini Shiramsi Yasya Saha Trishiraha. Kharaha cha Trishiraha cha Kharat Trishirau. Okay. So it's an easy shloka also. Tam Sharaihi Pratijagraha Kharat Trishirasaucha Saha Kramashasте Punastasya Chapan Samam Iva Udyayuhu. Taihi Trayanam Shitaihi Banaihi Yatha Purva Vishuddhibhihi Ayur Dehatigaih Pitam Rudhiram tu Patatribihi. So Taihi Trayanam Trayanam Ayuhu Pitam Rudhiram tu Patatribihi. Banaihi Trayanam Ayuhu Pitam Rudhiram tu Patatribihi. So he says the arrows were so sharp and they were also sent with such speed that it just came out very clean out of their body. It's like, in some movies and all, you will see one table filled with glassware and then there will be a tablecloth underneath. Some trick, they'll just take out the tablecloth and all of those glasses will just remain on that table. I'm reminded of that when I read the shloka. They'll just neatly take out the cloth, but none of the glass will break. Here also, when Rama uses the arrow, it goes and pierces all three of them, and it just comes out of their body. Deha atigaihi banaihi. The bana arrows, they cross the body. They are very sharp, but shitaihi banaihi, dehatigaihi. They cross the body also. Atigachati iti. So they pierce through the bodies. And what happens? Yatha purva vishuddhibihi. It was also vishuddhi, that they had a purity. They were clean as before. They remained as clean as they were before. It did not have any of that blood. So what did those arrows do? Taihi banaihi tayanam ayuhu pitam. Only their life was taken away, but the rudhiram tu, the blood was drunk by the birds. So which means they were all dead, and then smashanavate, all the vultures had come there and they drank the blood of those corpses. So this, there was not even a drop of blood on the arrow used by Rama. So dehatigaihi deham atitya bhitva gataihi. Those arrows which had pierced the body and gone beyond, it pierced, went through and came out of the other side. Gataihi yatha purva vishuddhibihi purvavat vishuddhaihi. They were also clean like before. Yatha purvam shitaihi tikshnaihi, extremely sharp banaihi, by the arrows which were the sharp pointed arrows that pierced through the bodies. Dehatigaihi yatha purva vishuddhibihi, remaining as clean as before. The arrows drank only the life of those three. So trayanam kharadushana trishirasam ayuhu pitam. This word is in sakaranta pullingam shashti bahuvachanam kharascha dushanascha trishiraha cha kharadushana trishirasam. If you see in the earlier shloka, we had tam separately where dushana was separate because he wanted to note down that dushana comes from the anuvritti. It is like our vyakaranam anuvritti where he takes from the earlier shloka and mentions only khara and trishiras. Now that he has to mention all three, and it is alpach goes in front. So khara, dushana and trishiras. Ayuf pitam. The life was, you drink the life out of somebody, right? It's an expression. Even in English you use that expression. So uira kudichuptan, idella it's a normal expression even in our language, so in Indian languages. Rudhiram tu, but it did not take the blood. The blood was drunk by the birds there. So patatribihi, patatrina, an arrow is also patatri actually. Because it has those feathers, an arrow is also called a patatri. Patatra is an paksha, wings. So patatri is something that has a wing. The arrow also has wings on both sides. So there were two types of patatri that were used. One drank the life and the other drank the blood. The rudhiram tu patatribihi pakshibihi pitam. Rama banaha atishigra gamitvat, because they were extremely fast. Khara dushanadinam dehane bhitva. It pierced the bodies of Khara, Dushana and others. Atikramya, it crossed their bodies. Yathapurvam rakta lepanam vina, without a touch of blood. Vishuddhaha eva asan. It was very clean. Rama banaihi tesham ayuhu eva pitam. Pitam ityukte hritam. Only their life was taken away by the Rama's arrows. Natu rudhiram, they did not take out even a drop of blood. The blood, whereas the blood was tattu gridhradibihi pakshibihi pitam. Gridhra is a vulture. So by vultures and other birds of prey, the blood was drunk. Deham atitya gachanti iti dehatigaha. Okay. Yatha purva vishuddhibihi. Purvam anatikramya yatha purvam. So yatha purvam vishuddhihi yasya saha. Okay. Taihi. Or yashante taihi is also fine. Patantam trayate iti patatram. Correct. So patatram here is actually rendita varum. Patantam trayate, patat is your pratipadikam, so you'll have to have the second takara also there. One with it protects from falling. So for a bird, the wings protect it from falling. So patatra is a paksha or wing. So patatrani sante yeshante patatrinaha. That's fine. Tais trayanam shitairbhanai. Chalo.
You were explaining that patadri has two kinds of patatram. One drinks the arrow has two kinds, right?
Illa. Adada patatringra word itself can be bana also.
Yeah, that I understood. But I was thinking that arrow itself has like two kinds. Two kinds of patatram in it.
Illa. Apdi illa. No. I wanted to say that patatri is a word that can indicate both a bird and it can indicate a bana. Tais trayanam shitairbhanaihi yatha purva vishuddhibihi ayur dehatigaif pitam rudhiram tu patatribihi. Tasmin Rama sharotkritte bale mahati rakshasam utthitam dadrishe anyacha kabandebhyo na kinchana. Okay. Tasmin Rama shara utkritte bale mahati bale mahati rakshasam mahati bale kabandebhyaha anyat na kinchana utthitam dadrishe. So the entire army was completely decimated by Rama's arrows. Rama Shara Utkritte. Utkritte is cut off. So the entire army, Rakshasam Mahati Bale Rama Shara Utkritte Sati. When the entire army, the great army, Mahati Bale, Balam Sainyam of the Rakshasas, Rakshasam, when it was cut, Utkrittam, Kritta is Krintati, it cut us. So he cut off the head of all of those Rakshasas by using his bows, sorry, arrows. So Rama Shara Utkritte Mahati Bale Sati. When that entire great army of the Rakshasas were cut off by Rama's arrows, something should, nothing was standing up, it seems. Only just the headless trunks were standing. Usually, when you cut off, for a moment, it will be in motion at that point, and then only it will fall down due to the weight or without that balance. So, sometimes, that there will be a remnant of movement in the body, and because of that rigor mortis, it can sometimes just stretch itself out, and it will seem like it is standing up. So he's talking of something like that. So kabandhebhyaha, kabandhaha is a body without a head. Shiro rahita shariram. So one word here. Tatra, tasmin, in that army, you can say, or when that army, you can use both Sati Saptami also here, or you can say in that entire army, iti Adhikarana Saptami is also fine. So tasmin Rama Sharot Kritte Bale Mahati Bale Rakshasam Bale Kabandebhyaha Anyat. Apart from headless trunks, nothing else. Anyat kinchana na utthitam dadrishe. Nothing else was seen to get up. Utthitam. Nothing was seen as waking up. It was only a complete army of only headless trunks that was there. Okay. So I was just 1 minute. I wanted to see what Mallinatha says here. Okay. Prani kabandhebhyaha shirohina sharirebhyaha. He is actually using the same thing here. Uttana kriya vishishtam. Na kimapi drishtam. Nishesham hatam ityartha. Okay, everything was completely killed, and he had just decimated the entire army. Rama Shara Utkritte Rama Banehi Chinne Tasmin Mahati Rakshasam Bale. In that great army which was killed by the arrows of Rama, Utthitam Uttana Kriya Vishishtam Kabandebhyaha Uttana Kriya Vishishtam ityukte nothing else was seen to rise up other than, except kabandhebhyaha anyat. Kabandha ityukte shirorahita sharirebhyaha anyat itarat kinchana ekamapi, not even some single thing, na dadrishe, it was not seen. Dadrishe is karmani prayoga of dadarsha. Ramena rakshasam mahat sainyam nashitam. It was killed. It was destroyed. Nashtam is mahat sainyam nashtam. Ramena mahat sainyam nashitam. It was destroyed by Rama. Tatra pranavashishtani shirohina sharirani eva utpatanti sma. Only those bodies which had a little bit of prana in them. That is, they had only that prana vayu which was traveling, and so there were a little bit of residual movement in those headless trunks. Only those were utpatanti. They seemed to wake up. This is not that they are alive, but this is when rigor mortis set in, or if there is a little bit of movement, the Tamil solracha verachikradumbo. There is a movement there that happens which makes some of the limbs go up, right? So that is what he talks about. Where Kalidasa saw all these things, we don't know. But see, he's describing all that. And he is a great master at observing nature and how things function in the world. Anyat sarvam nischalam asit. Everything else was without any movement. Okay. So Ramasya Sharaha, Ramasharaha. Taihi Utkrittam, that which was cut off by the arrows. Okay. Rakshasam. Rakshate Havihi. Oh, this is some from Kalpadruma. Okay. Kena Vayuna Badhyate iti Kabandha. We don't need this Vyutpatti. It's only it's not a samasa here. It's not a vigraha vakyam here. This is more like a vyutpatti that you're talking about. I would put it in brackets. We don't need this here. So this can just be as an extra information. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Sa bana varshinam ramam yodhayitva suradvisham aprabodhaya shushvapa gridrachaye varuthini. Sa varuthini, that big army of Rakshasas, Suradvisham Varuthini. Suranam Dvit is an enemy. So Deva Shatrunam Varuthini Sena Bana Varshinam Ramam Yodhayitva. After fighting with Rama, who was raining arrows. So that army of the Asuras, who were the enemies of the gods, Suradvisham Sa Varuthini, Bana Varshinam Ramam Yodhayitva, after fighting Rama, trying to engage with Rama, who was continuously pouring arrows, like rain, showering arrows. Bana Varshinam Ramam Yodhayitva. It just fell to a sleep. Sushvapa, it slept. Aprabodhaya, to not wake up again. In Idila Kunti Stutila, when Kunti is praising Krishna, she will say Apunarbhavaya. Vipada Santu me Pade Pade. Here's one beautiful shloka. Vipada Santu Nashashvat. Vipada Santu Nashashvat. Bhavato darshanam yatsyad apunarbhava darshanam. Tatra tatra jagadguru. Vipadas santu tas shashvat. Let me have vipat, abat constantly. Because then you will show your face. Tatra tatra jagadguru. Bhavataha darshanam yatsyat. Your darshanam itself is apunarbhava darshanam. That darshanam is something which gives us the sight of apunarbhavaha. Punarbhavaha yatra na vidyate. Tadrasham darshanam bhavati bhavat darshanam. So seeing Krishna is something that will not give us a punarbhava, punarjanma. So that will be the last janma for us. So she will say, give us more and more vipat. So we will keep thinking about you and you will come and rescue us also. Then it's moksha only for us. That aprabodhaya reminds me of that apunarbhava, where there is no janma again. Here also aprabodhaya, they for not waking up again at all. So they completely slept continuously. That is, they were totally dead and fell into a sleep, never to wake up again. Aprabodhaya. And where did they sleep? Gridrachaye, under the shade of vultures. So all these birds of prey, vultures, they were just waiting to feed on that corpses. So that it'll just bring down. No, there is a peak of Veera Rasam, and then suddenly when he describes the Kabandha and this Gridrachaya, there is a down of that Veera Rasam and there is a Vivatsa Rasam coming in. It's a contrast that he is showing here. That's when you can understand how the poets have to bring up the mood and make it more interesting. Otherwise, if you're constantly describing the Veeram only and then quickly move on to the next episode, then your mind is not prepared enough for the next rasa. If you wanted to go and experience the next rasa, you need an interlude of the opposite one. In the sense that the peak has to come down for you to again achieve a peak. You can't just keep on malamela erinde po mudiyadula. Can't just keep on climbing a mountain. You need a drop for you to appreciate again, that the beauty of the mountain. Adanga. So sa bana varshinam ramam yodhayitva suradvisham varuthini gridrachaye sushwapa. It slept, fell asleep under the shade of vultures, never to wake up again. Aprabodhaya. So sa suradvisham rakshasam sa varuthini sa sena bana varshinam bana prayoktaram ramam. One prayokta is just a very in the vaart romba chappan irukku இந்த வார்த்தை. Bana varshinam ityukte yaha banam he is someone who is continuously pouring it like a rain. That's why they could the kramashaha yadyapi banaha agachan tathapi samamiva udyayuhu ityuktam. So that idea comes only from the word bana varshi and not brana prayokta. You can just use one banam. This is just, it's not showering arrows. So bana varshinam ramam yodhayitva yuddham karayitva. But sometimes you don't find the appropriate paryayavachi shabda, so you have to make do with certain words. Yuddham karayitva, after fighting with him, gridhranam chayayam aprabodhaya apunarbodhaya, to not wake up again. Sushwapa supta, it slept. So sa rakshasa sena ramam yodhayitva tena ardita sati, being tortured by Rama, shashwatim nidram prapa, it attained a nidra, a sleep which was shashwati, eternal. Bahavo gridhraha cha, many vultures, tat shava bhakshanartham, tasyaha shavasya shavanam bhakshanartham, tasyaha, you take it as varuthini. So varuthinyaha shava bhakshanartham, in order to eat the corpses of that army, agatya, those vultures came, nabhasi stitaha, they were standing or they were just situated on the sky, ghanam chayam samapadayan, and because they were all waiting in the sky to eat the corpses, they don't come, they maybe it is already night time or it is in the morning, they're waiting for people to go away so that they can have their meal. So ghanam chayam samapadayan, they created a great shadow on top. I think I've told before, go and read this Gridha Gomayu Samvadaha in Mahabharata. It's just 1 or 2 chapters in Mahabharata. Very interesting chapter. Very easy also. So Gridha, a vulture. So there is a young boy who is dead, and his family has come to the Shmasanam, and they are placing the boy on the pyre. They are going to light up the funeral pyre, but it's an akala mrityu, so they're all crying with grief. But there is this vulture and one jackal, 2 of them are waiting. The vulture preys on the corpse during the daytime, and the jackal preys during the evening, something like that. And so each one will advise the family members, saying, you know, what can you do? Leave it and go right away. There is no point in burning this body. This body is so beautiful. Why do you want to burn this body? Because they want that corpse. If they burn the body, then it cannot eat the flesh, right? Whereas the Gomayu will say, see, he's a small boy. Wait till the sun is set. You'll have to cry as much as you can. I think each one wants to achieve their own end. So that conversation is all, it evokes a sense of, virakti. So the child is dead, but 2 people are fighting for the body there. So it's both humorous at the same time. It also Tamil sonnona plarna arayra mari irukum. It's like giving a slap to our and waking up our senses to what is reality. Beautiful samvada. Anyway, the Gridra Chaye nodne, I just diverted my mind. Okay. Sa bana varshinam ramam yodhayitva suradvisham aprabodhaya sushwapa Gridra Chaye varuthini. Okay, we'll stop with this. Any doubts?
This one is exactly matching what you said, like Kunti Stotram. The Sena made Rama is the Karma Padam here, so it made Rama to fight with them, and then like Apunar Bhavayan Aprabodha.
They also pray for Vipat and make Krishna come in front of them. Yeah, it's nice. Savana Varshinam Ramam. Okay, we'll finish with this. Vagarthava Samprakto, Vagartha Pratipatte, Jagataf Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwaro.
I have one
Yeah,
question.
tell me.
In Utpreksha, it is Swarupa Utpreksha, which is same as Vastu Utpreksha, right? And then Hetu and Phala Utpreksha. So Kriya Utpreksha in that little book of Kuvalayananda, it is not mentioned as a separate thing, right? So
Yeah,
we just have to, if the Kriya is fancied, then you say Kriya Utpreksha. It is
yes.
separate from Vastu Utpreksha. Okay.
No, it is not separate from Vastu Utpreksha. Vastu can be of Gunam or Kriya or an object, Padartha.
Oh, okay.
Anything can be Vastu. If it is not Hetu or Phalam, it is Vastu Utpreksha according to Kolayananda. There are other people who call it as Kriya Utpreksha also. There are other Alankarikas who give a separate thing as Kriya Utpreksha. So you are not wrong if you mention Vastu Utpreksha or Kriya Utpreksha. It's fine. There, in the Vyakhyana for Kuvalayananda, he mentions that Guna Kriya also come under Vastu Utpreksha.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, it's
To
like
be more specific, you can
more
say Kriya
specific.
Utpreksha. Yeah.
Vastu is a generic term and underneath, okay. If you
Yeah.
want to specifically mention, you can say Kriya or Guna.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. For example, here you can take it as Guna Utpreksha because that Gunam of Samatvam and Kramatvam is the that which is fancied, right?
Correct, correct.
So it's actually the Guna that is fancied, or if you can take it as Samam Udyayuhu iva Samam Yatha Syat Tatha Udyayuhu iti Kriya Visheshanattvena yadi Swikurmaha Tarhi Tatrapi Kriya Utpreksha Bhavati. So that is why Kuvalayanandakara just generalizes it as a Vastu Utpreksha. Much easier to do that.
Okay, okay. Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.